Good morning. I am so sorry that I could not be there with you all this morning. I was so excited about building my gingerbread house, but something came up and I could not be here. I do realize that I'm on the flyer to present today, and that's why I'm before you in video, so that I can give you a few of Miss Deborah isms as it relates to mother and daughter relationships. However, I do want to say that we have a great lineup of facilitators. These facilitators are prepared, they're transparent, and they are eager and ready to help you. So, congratulations for coming out and leaning into this relationship. What we're going to do as it relates to getting started, I just want to say that we know that the world has changed drastically from the times that your babies were babies. And so has our communications. And if you're still trying to communicate the way you did when they were younger, that's where the conflict comes in a major, major way. Because we're acknowledging that, we wanna fix it. And so we want to be intentional about developing a more healthy mother and daughter relationship. And today is a great start to do that. We know that if we are not intentional about things, this relationship will take a life, of its own. And before you know it, life will happen to each of you in a way that you would not want. So I'm glad you're leaning in. One of the things that I want to just kind of set some boundaries and parameters so that we'll know exactly what we're focusing on. I think we have to start with what generation we were born in. And most of us were born in the information age, some of us industrial, but you can believe in 2016 we are right smack in the middle of the communication age. And so, if we will lean into your relationships, we would even have to go um, a level deeper and say interpersonal, which means two or more people who are personal and intimate. And of course, it is hope that these mother and daughter relationships are that way. When they're not, it usually is an indication of some level of communication or maybe not being able to forgive each other and be able to talk and come up with these new ways of communicating, which is what we want to help you with today. So, what I want to do is contrast these things. I think that will help better. For example, baby boomers. Most of us came up in the information age, and the your daughter probably, if not, came up in the communication age, and if not, she's closer to the communication age than we are as parents. Let's put it that way. And so, I'd like to contrast that for you. There are three reasons why any human being needs to communicate. It's a need. One is identity. We need to know who we are. And that's one of the struggles that we have now in the information age, the baby boomers and older. When the baby was born, oh my goodness, we made a big deal about it and we were excited. And as they began to embark upon those developmental stages. We were right there as parents to really help them along the way and just help them feel good and get where they are. Now, real deal, we know everybody didn't grow up like that, but let's say as a general rule, for those who had some level of healthy relationship, that's how I got my identity if I was in that information age. Well, life has changed for that person with the communication age. They generally do not get that level of attention as it relates to identity. First of all, let's get real. Most mothers got to work now, and so you shift the kids off to babysitters and all of those things. And so, the media is teaching us how to identify with ourselves. And sometimes it's not pretty. And not until we get later in life do we realize that it was a misstep in those developmental ages. And because of that misstep, we find ourselves at odds now. But I love the idea. There's always a restart, and that's what we're doing right now. So, when it relates to physical needs, that's another area that that there's a contrast. For example, let me use John McCain as a, he was a Senate, and he was in the senator, and he recently passed away. But he was captured, and he was an enemy in one of those countries, and they isolated him to try to, confuse him and make it dark, and because isolation doesn't allow you to communicate. And so most situations that isolates you is trying to destroy you. But one of the things that he was smart enough to do was in his cell or wherever he was, he would tap one, the other guy finally next door would tap two, another person would tap three. And that's how they communicated. They then had connection. And that's what that physical area is about. We need to be connected. Now, in the communication age, the connection looks different. They could be sitting right next to each other. They could have two smartphones. One could be looking at their smartphone. The other could be looking at theirs and playing a game. And as far as they are concerned, they are connected. And that's just not happening in the communication age. It's also happening in the information age. Now, in the industrial age, what happened was you might go to a restaurant and you'd see this couple, and one would have the newspaper reading, the other would have the newspaper reading, and they would eat, and both would read their newspaper, but they were still connected. We just do it now through smartphones, okay? Social needs. We need to know that we're not awkward and not a part of society. And so we need to have, social acceptance. And of course, the area that I like to give an example about this is back in the day when we were dating, usually we met somebody at the club or at college or wherever we might go, grocery store, anywhere, there was a little spark. And once that spark happened, we pursued in some way or another as we began to experience each other to know if we wanted to go to different levels. Today, it's online. It's not about the spark. It's about, your profile. And so if your profile turns me on, possibly, after doing the research, we might be able to get to the next step of talking to each other, etc. So I said all of that so we can see the contrast, that we just do it differently. So one of the things that you're going to be expected to do is come up with a mission statement, a communication mission statement. And so when you are crafting that statement today, realize that you come from different eras. You come from different ways of communicating. And today, both of you are going to have to shift and meet each other in the middle so that you can begin to develop a new and more healthy and modern mother and daughter relationship. I have 3 questions to ask you. This is how we're going to craft this statement. Elaine has those questions, but I want you to answer those questions. Mother, you answer yours by yourself. Daughter, you answer those by yourself. The filter that I want you to use as you talk to each other about your answers is be honest and truthful. Where did you get that from? That answer. Where did those values come from? And if you don't know where they came from, or if they came from your mother, then where did your mother get them from? You have to own every part of how you dealt with me at each developmental stage. Once we get that clear, then we can begin to say, okay, we got it, we understand, and let's try to craft this statement, this mission statement. But another warning. Most of us have crafted our mission statements in the past, or how we relate to each other in the past, through what we call personality ethics. It doesn't work. We all have different personalities. You can't make me do what you want me to do. I can't make you do what, you want me to do just because you're my mom and you're older and, you pay the rent and I've got to do this. We can act like all of that's going to happen, but that's not going to be a healthy relationship. And the same thing with daughter. She can't come in all out of sorts in your home and expect and do things and not communicate and you guys get good understanding. It's not healthy. And so going forward, as you begin to need each other more as mother and daughter, that void will be there, and it will cause more disruption, and you won't have the better life, the good life, your best life. If you don't get this right now. So I'm going to ask you to get away from that personality stuff of how I am, how I talk, what I do, and all of that foolishness. That's personality. We all got one, and so yours is no different than mine, other than it's unique to you. What we're going to ask the both of you is to craft this statement around character. We want you to deal with character. That means integrity, justice, the golden rule, respect. If we craft our communication statement and begin to communicate with each other through character ethics, find character words, building words that you all think that you can work with, and put it in that statement, and that will take you a long place. It'll take you a long way, because it's not about your personality or not about mine. Whatever mine is and whatever yours is, we need to respect each other. Whatever yours is and whatever mine is, we need to be fair. One doesn't trump the other when I become a young adult. And so the golden rule, treat me like you want to be treated. So all of these things is what you need to really shift to in order to build this floor that you're going to be building for your foundation for your new house. So have fun. I always do this until, if you don't know the different character building words that would help you and your daughter have a good relationship, go to Google. I'm sure you got your smartphone, and there are so many character traits out there. Look at the ones that work for you all and craft that statement. Then go and get the material that you need to build your house. And I'm telling you, you'll have a better relationship. Life will be better, and things will be better. Those are just a few of Miss Deborah isms. I wish I could be there. Thank you so much for being here. It's going to be a great, great, great morning. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing the tape. You guys have a great time. Bye-bye.